great day to talk hockey with Grant McCagg on HabsCast.
I've got a bone to pick with the referees. You know, Oliver Kapanen can put his foot on the blue line to stay on side, but if His Highness Mark Stone's coming towards him, that's a pick, that's a penalty, that's interference. Nick Suzuki, he can't defend his own blue line. 3-on-3 in overtime. Guy freaking run, doesn't get out of the way. Apparently, Mark Stone can get it. You have to get out of the way of Mark Stone, but when it's Nick Suzuki, that's okay. It's only 3-on-3 in overtime. I mean, not a big deal. No penalty on that play. The hell was that? Oh, well. Anyway, got a point in Minnesota. Never thought I'd be saying that ever again in my lifetime. So I like to look at the bright side, right? The Canadians, hey, kind of fortunate to get goals at the end of each period, and then the start of the third, I missed it. So I don't know if anybody else missed it, but we'll play it again here just in case you did. Kirby Dach, 20 seconds into the period. The Dachinator. He's looked pretty good, hasn't he? Excuse me a sec. No beer tonight, folks. I'm made the mistake of stepping on the scale the other day. I'm officially hard at it here. No more midnight beers for a bit. Hour and a half ski today. Putting the hammer down. Finally got warm enough that I could go out skiing. I used to go when it was -20, but those days are over, I think. I can't take my dog out. I love taking my dog out skiing, and I feel guilty going out without my pup. Anyway, back to the game. Dovish, shades of Monty there, letting in the first friggin' shot. I don't know what, he was out of position. He should have saved that one. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what he was doing over there on the side. I like Dach. I like Gooley. Caden Gooley, since he's just gotten better and better each game. Not making a pile of mistakes out there. Solid. What I like too is, rebounds in front of the net. He's really good at getting a hold of them and getting them out of the way. Canadians don't necessarily have a lot of guys like that, and it's nice to see that they really need Caden Gooley. He's 10. They're 10-5-1 with Gooley in the lineup. That's 13 games against the top 7 teams. Yeah. Oh, VDoc disagreeing with me. That never happens. Thanks, VDoc. I knew you'd have a different take on it, because that's you. Yeah. Why was it a penalty, VDoc, on Kapanen then? Whatever. I'm just going to start ignoring you. How's that? Because all you ever do is disagree with everything. Let's go here. Let's have a look at the video here. Here are the stats. Matheson, 25 minutes, back to his old team. What was he like when he did the step-up thing there? Like that on that goal by Faber, he, again, -3 tonight, 1 assist. Was not the best game from him. Gooley -2. Okay, well, but I don't, I still think he's been pretty solid since he came back and just getting better and better. Freaking Quinn Hughes tonight. That guy, I'm sorry, but in his own zone, there's he is far from perfect. In fact, he had turnovers. Cappy got the puck from him on that. Got the puck from him on that on the Demodov goal. Didn't get an assist on it, but he started the play with, and then Hughes didn't cover Demodov, and Galley absolutely walked him there. That looked worse than the Kapanen. What was it? The Kotkaniemi on Matheson. Remember when he was a Florida and he walked around him that time? The call on Deneau in overtime, yeah. Well, what was Doby doing out? What was Deneau doing out there in overtime anyway? It's like Kapanen wins 50% or more of his faceoffs. Deneau wins 5% more. So you just completely give up trying to score the goal in overtime because Deneau has a 5% better chance of winning the faceoff, or 7 or whatever it is. You know what 7% is? Like 1 out of every 13 draws, he's better. So that was going to be the 13th draw. Like conservative Claude. That was a conservative Claude type move. Oh, we'll put Deneau out instead of Kapanen. We'll put the 2-goal scorer out instead of the 17-goal scorer. I didn't like it. And then what happens? Deneau takes the penalty and they score, right? So when you play not to lose, you know what happens 90% of the time? You lose. Because safe is death. Anyway, back to the stats here. Gallagher, that was a decent game for Galley, I thought, tonight. Carey +2 again. Hudson +3. The Demidov with a nice goal, and then the friggin' nice play in front where the chance. Did he like get his stick chopped in half there? I don't know. He was kind of once again, his stick friggin' snapping in two with very little. And if it was chopped, why wasn't that a penalty? But anyway, I'm not gonna. Hey, leaving Minnesota with a point, folks, is good. Like I don't, you got to look at it from the viewpoint that I did not expect them to win at all tonight. So, who was good in the draws tonight? Friggin' Evans has been on a roll, 91% on draws tonight, folks. That's who should have gone out. If they were that friggin' horny about having to win that draw, why didn't they put Evans out there? Have Evans and friggin' Dach. If the face-off was all that mattered. Anyway. It's Suzuki 44% on draws tonight. Deneau 110, lost 9. So anyway. But he had to be out. He had to be out there for that draw. Hey, he won 53% of his draws. Well, if you're freaking worried about that, put out the guy that's 191% then. As usual, I just don't get it. Ice time tonight, Demidov and Cappy only 14 friggin' minutes. They didn't play those two a whole hell of a lot, As usual, Marty relying on his vets. Deneau 16-26. Yeah. Kirby Dach 17-29. Well, folks, time to talk a bit about Kirby Dach. I kept reading all these he's fragile, we gotta trade him. He sucks. He's, blah, blah, blah. Well, look, Canadians are signing him in the offseason. They're committed to him. You get more than glimpses. You see what it is about him that is so, like, that 6'4" package, his skating ability, his puck skills. He's got really good hands, really good. And he can control the puck in the offensive zone. Really good on the cycle, protects the puck well. For a 6'4" guy, there aren't many guys in the league with his hands. That's why he was a top 3 pick in the draft, folks. Yeah, he never put up great stats in junior, but sometimes with big guys, it takes time. And he's battled injuries, and it has curtailed his development. But you see why he was a top 3 pick, and I just that's not something you just give away, or you say, well, we're going to move on from you because you might get hurt again. You can't, you have to hope that the rash of injuries are over and that he's going to um, reach his potential and not get injured as often as he has in the past. Some of it's been bad luck. Well, hopefully the bad luck is over. And I mean, 80 games with Kirby Dach on a line with Suzuki and Caulfield. Like, I feel pretty confident if that ever happened, that trio, like Dach can be a 20 to 30 goal scorer and 40 to 60 assist winger. And bring size, physicality, good defense. There's a lot to like there. I think Texier's not going to get back that spot. Leave your thoughts here in the and tell me what you think about that. Whether you think that Texier will go back on the top line when he comes back. Donnie McCaskill gifted 5 recruits HabsCast memberships. Don, he is the gift. He is Mr. Gift. Thank you, Don. You have gifted so many free memberships. It's great, and I believe fantastic. Thank you, Don. There's some lucky people that will be receiving their gift. What can I say? Rick couldn't make it tonight. Early morning. Liam just got back from a road trip, so I wasn't going to ask him. And Rob Trask flying back to Calgary. He flies back and forth from BC to Calgary. See his grandkids play hockey all the time, and he's not available. And Blaine is still a little doped up, trying to recover from his back muscle tears. So couldn't get any co-pilot tonight, but we'll so we won't go too long. I don't think we'll keep it fairly short. Just get it back to the back here a little bit. Hits wise, Bolduc 3 more hits. Dobson with 3 hits, so he's playing a little more physically. Anderson 3. They didn't throw a ton of hits tonight. I mean, Minnesota typically always dominates play at home against Montreal, so I'm not going to get too caught up in it. But in the first period there were a few times when the Habs were a little lax defensively, and Minnesota, really took it to them. But I thought the Canadians tightened up as the game went along, and at times controlled the play. Those goals at the end of the period, that's what saved them. 2 goals in the last minute, and then opening the third with a goal. So somewhat fortunate to come out of it with a point, I think. But nevertheless, Dobie should have had that first shot. And I'm thinking like, oh, here's a Monty. This is a Monty type thing, right? Let in that first shot, and he should have had it. And then the second two, how did that squeeze through him? Like, frig. It's like, how did it get through? I mean, yeah, there was traffic in front, this and that, but should have had that too. But to his credit, he made some big saves again and almost got the Habs the win. But then they popped one fairly late, Minnesota, in the third, like halfway through, and then in overtime, the penalty, and then the non call on the pick, and what can you do, right? It's yeah, we can be upset, but we see it too often, right? And few people saying like Samurai Knight, the NHL should be ashamed with these refs. Well, it wasn't the best because he wasn't wearing blue, red, and white and is allowed to use that ice. Yeah. Hughes was holding Kapanen's stick, and rather than giving a penalty, the ref told Hughes to release the stick. I don't know. It does seem like the Habs don't. Not many games where they get the better of the calls, is there? I don't know. And still got a point. Penalty was soft in OT. Galley gets on board. Glad he did. Take the point, but that's good. Wild team, 2 boys. Yeah. So 13 games against the top teams in the league now. 6 left. So the schedule is in the Habs' favor here coming down the stretch, because most of the games against the teams that they certainly aren't expected to win against, they're 7-4-2 against Carolina, Colorado, Dallas, Tampa, Vegas, Minnesota, and Detroit. So not bad. The Islanders are in 8th place in win percentage and on pace for 99 points. Or this was the other day, but that's basically, I think you need 98, 99 points to get in this year, probably. The Habs are playing, 620 pace, so 580, 590, about a 590 win percentage to hit 99 points. So they don't have to play as well as they have so far to make the playoffs, but I think it would behoove them to keep playing at winning at the same pace. VDoc mentioning about why did yeah, I was wondering the same thing. I'm not sure what Matheson was doing there, coming up for the big hit when he should have came back. Just kept backing up, and I don't know. Not sure. Matheson, hey, when you play 25 minutes a game every night and against the top teams and the top lines, you're gonna have some games that aren't great. Quinn Hughes tonight. Yeah, he had 2 points, but I saw about 5 like horrible defensive plays by him tonight. Be it like bad passes, getting stripped of the puck, being out of position, getting walked by Galley. Like, Quinn Hughes has always had issues with his defense, but I don't know. I'm looking forward to the Olympics, because I would love to see gold medal game Quinn Hughes. If Galley can do it, imagine what McKinnon can do. Eh? McKinnon coming in and lowering his shoulder and going to the net, or Crosby. You not think that they can do the same thing? Looking forward to it. I want Bill Guerin to eat his words about Hudson not good enough defensively. He's better defensively than Quinn Hughes. I'll go to my grave saying that. I don't think it's even close, to be honest with you. Hudson's way better defensively than Quinn Hughes. Maybe the refs need the Olympic break more than the players or get fired, one or the other. I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I thought that was another obvious pick on Suzuki and OT. Well, I thought so too, Michael, but I guess the refs won't call it. You can blame the other team when they keep doing it. That's 2 in the last 3 games. Yeah. Yeah. The Habs player makes that pick, it's a penalty. When's the last time the Habs had less penalties than the opposition? Well, I mean, if Cappy hadn't been called for it like just 2 games ago, I wouldn't be as adamant about it. But, you know, it was basically the exact same thing. Guy trying to stay on side. Suzuki, and Suzuki wasn't even looking at him like, you know, didn't know he was there. Well, freaking did Mark Stone not see Kapanen? Yes, he did. Kept going right at him. And then, the usual, big display by Mark Stone, just like when he got his microfracture. And there you go. Thursday tonight. HabsCast. You haven't switched that. I weirdly wish you would switch your username because my username on here is HabsCast. So people think that it's me posting. Do you mind HabsCast 3978 not using HabsCast as your, in fact, I'm going to insist on it, please. Change your handle. Thank you. I hope the Habs and Marty call out the refs again. Yeah. Well, what can you do? Yeah, it seems like people are everyone but VDoc thinks it was why am I not shocked by that? Interference penalty, it was worse than yeah, I know. Doc was terrific tonight. I thought so. Yep, Doc is getting more confident. Let's have a look at that again. It's just a tip, eh? He's got really nice hands. He really does. Goes to the net. Ding. Nice goal. I hate when the Habs just lob the puck over and over. This gives the opponents continuous chances to attack. Yeah, they're such a skilled team, right? Like, why? Why do you insist on doing the lob thing over and over? And yeah, I'm just not crazy about it. That's for sure. I'm gonna try to find. I wanted to get on as quick as I can because people get a little impatient about me not being on right after, even though I have to prep a few things. Buffalo beat the Panthers 5-3. Washington over the Islanders. Senators, we caught the end of that. Beat Pittsburgh 3-2, squeaked it out. Nashville beats St. Louis 6-5. Chicago's up 5-3 on San Jose. Dallas, with 3 minutes left, is up 3-2 on Winnipeg. Detroit in Colorado, winning 1-0. Utah beating Vancouver 3-1. Toronto up on Calgary 1-0. Just curious who scored for Nashville tonight. Stamkos with 2 more, including the game winner. Oh, McCarron had a goal tonight too. Well, you look at that, eh? They're remaining in the hunt. So the news there, the big news yesterday was Barry Trotz stepping down. I really do think, it was just his decision because you know, it's funny when that came out, people saying, "Oh, worst GM," and I don't, be- I don't believe that's the case at all. I think Dave Poyle left him like kind of the same kind of mess that Bergevin was left when he took over the Habs. Like, 3 or 4 good pieces, but then they'd been trading picks and had nothing in the farm system at all, like very little, bare bones. And to Trotz's credit, he been collecting picks and high picks in recent years. And I honestly think that Nashville had the best draft of any team last year. And I loved the Surin pick the year before. Molendyke's going to be a good defenseman. He just needs time. But Brady Martin, frig, I love that pick, and all of their picks in the past draft I thought were solid. And you know, he's only had 3 years on the job. GMs typically get about 10 or more, not like coaches. And so you couldn't expect him to turn it around in 3 years. All these picks that he made, the great draft he just had, it's going to be 2 to 3 years before, it bears fruit. But I would not be surprised that 2, 3 years from now, Nashville's good. And they're saying, oh, look at all this good young talent on the team. And who got that young talent? It was Barry Trotz. So, good guy, one of the good guys in the league. I like Barry Trotz. Just a class guy. I wish him all the best in retirement. He's talking to, it's about family and stuff. And I really, considering it's halfway through the year and stuff, I think for whatever reasons, hey, he's stepping away. He's past retirement age. Good for him. He doesn't need the money, as Tina was saying tonight, right? So, I wish him all the best. But let's have a look at the standings here. Tampa 74. Detroit, if they win, will have 72. If they end up losing tonight, Habs are tied with them, but will be ahead because they'll have a game in hand. So we'll see. But hopefully Colorado comes back and wins that one. Buffalo 69 with a game in hand on the Habs. So slightly better win percentage right now. Bruins 68. And now the Sens have moved up, and it's Florida that's back into 8th place. Geez, eh? So the Sens are 9 points back of Montreal with a game in hand. So we'll see. But that is 7 out of 8 points in the last 4 games for the Habs, and against some pretty decent opponents. So hopefully they can go into Winnipeg and pull out a victory there, and come back from the Olympic break and be ready to rock and roll. But that's still a very extremely tight division. Tampa's only played 53 though, so 27-8-4. So that's a hell of a record, considering how strong the division is. Yeah, people still talking about the. I know It's an interference call against the Habs, but apparently not against their opponents. But Jack Eye needs to go, says Caper Boy. What did Arbor play tonight? 551. One hit. That's it. Not I don't know. I think the management must be getting the hint. Hey, they're sending out bat signals. Marty's sending out bat signals saying, "Get me a sixth defenseman, please. We don't trust Arbor. Whatever the reason, that's just the way it is." If you're to say to me, Montreal's only going to make one move at the trade deadline, and what will that be? It'll be to pick up a physical veteran defenseman, I think, because it's clear that they don't trust Arbor playing a regular shift on defense right now. So, yeah. All right, folks, let's move on from the ref rhetoric there. It's over. Let's talk hockey. At least they got a point tonight. This stretch leading to the break has looked better than what was happening going into the last 5-game stretch. That's true. Like you're talking about the 5-game stretch going into the 5 Nations Cup or 4 Nations Cup. Yeah. 4 Nations, whatever it was, shootout, or I forget I've already forgot. Yeah, and Danault lost that face-off, right? They bring him out to win the face-off, and then he loses it, and then takes a penalty. But anyway, not sure Danault would have stayed off the ice if he had won the face-off. He had a chance to get off, and he didn't. So the face-off thing with Danault figures into too many of Marty's decisions. Yeah. Well, and especially when, like I say, I'm curious. I'm just going to pull up, for interest's sake, stats here. And look at face-off percentage. I'm just curious. All right. So Danault, well, with the Habs, he's winning 58% of his face-offs. Okay. Good. Evans winning 54. So 54.6. So 3% higher. Suzuki's basically at 50. Cappy, 48. So even if you say, okay, Cappy, Danault wins 1 out of every 10 face-offs more than Oliver Kapanen. So there was a 10% chance that Danault wins that draw and Cappy doesn't. And Danault lost it. So, I don't know. There's too much emphasis put on, that 10% chance that 10% more better chance that that Danault wins that face-off. So the problem with him winning the face-off is then, okay, but is he going to score even if they win the face-off? He's got 2 goals all year. Like, why don't you take the percentage of that, Marty, and wait against the 10%, the 1 in 10 chance, 1 out of every 10 he's going to win more than Kapanen. Well, one timer from the slot, I'd say it's about 101 chance that he'd score instead of Kapanen. So you add it up, it's still 90% odds in yeah. No way you ski, you would get hurt in the bunny hill. I cross country ski, you idiot. Buzz off. Suzuki said it was a pick, but seemed refs saw it differently. Yeah. It does seem that way. Yeah, even Suzuki said it was a pick. There you go. Matheson 20 minutes more than Arbor. I love Robidas. Okay. Oh, are you saying the Matheson's not as good as is that going to be the new VDoc? We're going to see 42 paragraphs on that? No? Marty blew it. Yeah. Yeah, at least he can keep up speed-wise. Yeah, Evans, yeah, I know. I don't know. Skoy. I agree, Grant. This is Doc. You sign. Oh, frig. Yeah, he's re-signed. Like people that are saying, oh, you don't re-sign him in the oh, come on. Like, need that size skill combination. There's Slav and there's Doc right now. That's it. And it was the reason why I wanted them to take Prokhorov too, because he can freaking skate like the wind hits. He's huge. You know, yeah, I like Zurovsky and he's going to be a good player, but I've been looking at Prokhorov and freaking beast, man. And this perception, as I argued last year, that he can't pass, and as he has some beautiful assists this year, really nice. He's not playing with guys 6 guys that scores 5 goals like last year, and voila, he's getting assists and nice ones too. But anyway, they need a Prokhorov type guy in the top 9 coming up, but they have Doc and they have Slav. They need another one, but if you get rid of Doc, then all they got is Slav. You gotta, we saw it with Buffalo, right? With Tuck and Thompson. Hard to contain those guys when you got skill and size, right? It's nice to have, and it sure comes in handy. Joel Eriksson, skill and size, hurt the Canadians tonight, right? Boldy, skill and size, tough to contain. Doc brings to the first line quite close to what Slav was bringing. Yeah. Doesn't quite give it 100% all the time. You just got to get in better shape. He's just got to freaking play. I think it's just a matter of getting in better shape. Game shape. Donnie, agree 100%. I've always been a Doc fan. Unteachable. Well, that's the thing. Doc is more aware that he needs to be more physical. Again, it's conditioning. You can't, if you're not skating and you can't catch guys because you're not in game shape, then you're not going to be physical. You're going to seem a little lazy at times because you just don't have the wind, the stamina. 2 years, it takes 2 years for a knee injury to be fully back. Next year, I expect what you see now is nice, but I think next year, if Dach is healthy, and that's a big if, look out. He's going to have a really really big year, I think. Gooley didn't get much ice time. 20 minutes and 41 seconds. Tim, that's not a bad amount. Hudson with 25, 55 again. Dobson 25. So they're back to the three guys 25, right? Oh, it's Marty. Again, when you play in these tough teams, I guess he thinks, can't have Arbor on the ice. I don't know. I mean, you can't say that Arbor made a lot of mistakes tonight, but when you play 5 minutes, like if he has one mistake, right, in 5 minutes, Matheson has 4 in 25. Matheson's still fewer mistakes, right? Looking good. New season out the Olympics and hopefully playoffs. I'm patient. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, getting the point in Minnesota, going to Minnesota and getting that point was important. I did not think it was happening. I really didn't. Especially when they scored the first 2 goals. Like, really, how many people, be honest now, thought, well, Habs are going to come back and win this one when it was 2-0? Like a minute left in the first period, did you think, oh, yeah. Sammy Knight apologized for swearing. Oh, God. Don't apologize for that. I'm really happy for Dach. He's finding his way back. Dach will keep his spot if he keeps this up for sure. Yeah, I believe so. What ended up happening in the bean pot, the end of it was 2-2 the last. I was kind of keeping an eye on that. Did we get a final score? Flash score is not showing it. I'll have to go to college hockey. 2-2 final. What? How can it be final? So, BU wins in the shootout, I guess is what they're telling us. Weird that it says 2-2 final. But yeah. Jeez. Northeastern. I thought Northeastern was going to win that one. A little surprised by BU. There's a lot of talent there, and Tynan Lawrence, I think he's been honestly, I'm starting to get and over the Olympic break here, I'm going to do a lot of scouting of the draft. I was looking at Euros, Russians and Euros today. Found a Czech kid playing in Finland that I like, but I've got some looks at Lawrence in the past week. Hey, you know what? He's kind of like an Alex Newhook type player. Lots of speed, good skater, but not a real play creator. Doesn't create a lot of offense. Doesn't see the ice that well. Not a real, certainly not an above average playmaker. So I think the hype on him has been a little high, a little overhyped. Like I saw some list early in the year when he was playing in the USHL saying, "Oh, could be first overall." No. In fact, right now, I would rank Savanto ahead of Lawrence right now, as far as centers go. Bigger kid, he can be an elite shutdown guy, I think, Savanto. I don't think there's a pile of offense there either, but the only person I would consider moving the Dach off the first line for would be Laine. Yeah, but we'll see. I still think Texier is nothing more than a fourth liner. Well, I'm not the hugest Texier guy. I'm really happy for Dach. He is finding his way back. Grant, Dach will keep his spot. If he keeps us up for sure, he takes last place well. Yeah. Dach fighting for a good contract. Let's hope he doesn't fall asleep after he signs. I just think it's just he stays healthy and gets back. HabsCast, I'm not reading your posts anymore until you change your handle, buddy. I think Dach is perfect for that first line. Yeah. Yep. Dach's hips are tight. He is not quick at all. What are you talking about? Hips are tight. For a 6'4" guy, he skates well. I'm sorry. You're wrong. You're all wrong. Anyone that says differently, no. Hips are tight. God. That the new jargon with the... Anyway. You should book it to Jean Coutu and stock up on baby powder to help with chafing from sitting on the bench so long. Arbor 551. Yeah. The refs only warned the Wild players. Hughes holding Capman's stick and, of course, the interference on Eriksson. Crazy. Hey! Somebody sent me some money. Sheldon, thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Yeah. I think Dach is perfect for that first line. Yeah, for sure. All right, let's get Slash and Demidov that broke his stick. Another missed call by the Homestead refs. Yeah. Yeah. Habs could play with those guys. Dobie was a bit off with the angles, however, still made some good saves. Yeah, I didn't think Minnesota dominated. It was, considering it was a home game, right? Yeah. Might as well only suit up 5D if Robidas only give 5 minutes to a D-man. Well, they may as well trade for one is what they got to do, right? They should trade for this guy. What do you think? He'd get 5 minutes if he played. Yeah. That's Ivan Cornway, folks. See the logo, Logs End. He got his flooring at Logs End, West Quebec, Quillon, Quebec. They've got a beautiful showroom in Stittsville. If you're ever in the Ottawa area or you live in the Ottawa area, check it out. Go see Rob. Tell him Grant sent you. Go to their website, logsend.com, and check it out. Beautiful reclaimed wide plank flooring. They take logs from the Ottawa River, turn it into the most beautiful flooring that you're ever going to see. Wide plank, it's really unique and it's great. Um, hey, if it's good enough for Ivan, it's good enough for you. If you go to the website and you like what you see, you get in touch, tell them that Grant sent you from HabsCast, and they will look after all of your needs. I think the rest wear a shock collar, and if they blow a whistle for a Habs PP, PP, they get shocked. Okay, all right. I'm gonna get over the. Oh my God! Really enjoy your show. Hudson is way better than Hughes defensively. Yeah, I think so. Let's beat Winnipeg and enjoy the break. Thanks, Don. Minnesota's the team with the best penalty per vote taken ratio in the league. Montreal is the third worst. Yeah, I know. All right. Can we get over the ref thing? I need Colorado and Calgary to beat Detroit and Toronto to end the day on a good note. Well, I hear you, buddy. Why don't we go back and check I'll keep an eye on the scoreboard here. Thing is that they're the late games and they won't be ending for a while, will they? But anyways, we'll keep an eye on it here. Come on, Colorado. Jesus, third period and they don't have a goal. Freaking Gibson, eh? 3-0 Toronto on Calgary. Okay, I guess Toronto's going to... I'm not too as worried about Toronto, whatever. But Detroit in Colorado, I'd like to see them lose. I hope they can come back. Clint Kozak. I totally agree with your opinion on Trotz, Farmer, Regina, Pat. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, HabsCast will have to change his handle now because he can't post anymore. Start calling me childish for telling the guy to, like, my handle is HabsCast, so what it confuses people. They think it's me. So I kindly asked him to change it, and he says I'm childish. No, I'm professional. I don't want people confusing. I didn't think it was that huge an ask. Anyway, bye-bye, HabsCast. Like, is it really hard to change your handle? Like, why do people have to be idiots sometimes? I agree 100%, Grant. They don't trust Arbor. I think as well as you, they will be looking for that 6D experienced and physical for sure. Yeah. No, it's going to have to happen. Who has the easiest calendar after the break? I don't know. It depends. That's a little bit subjective too, right? Like it depends, I think. You know. Steve Valcott did a deep dive on Dovish. He said Dovish gets scored on rush chance shots from outside. Yeah, well, so did Steve Valcott. Rush chance shots from the outside. He hasn't played enough games in the NHL for that to be that pertinent a stat, I don't think, with respect. Did he go back to Ohio State where he played 100 games and study that? You know, remember when they had a book on Price, whatever club that was, and then they end up losing to him? So much for the book. Lots of important matches for the ranking this week. Teams starting to kill each other. Hopefully no OT. Drives me crazy, the friggin' OTs. Hughes require Jeff Petrie from Florida at the trade deadline to suit up as 6'7" D-man. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that'd be funny. That's not happening. They need a physical defenseman. We got a point in Minnesota and we did not play our strongest game. Beautiful goal by Galley. Yeah, that was a nice one, eh? Remember when Mark Denis earlier this year predicted Habs would finish higher in the standings than the last? He took a lot of crap for saying it, but Mark Denis was very correct. You know what? Not pat my own back, but I said it. I said it my first that I thought that they would finish. Liam and I did a podcast right in the first week or two, and point predictions. I had the Habs ahead of the Leafs. So yeah, well, you don't have to argue with him about it anymore, Ken. Qualifying offer for Dach is $4 million. I guess Hughes cannot offer him that offer. Then he could resign him for less. $4 million would likely be acceptable if he can play on first line. Yeah. Oh, it'll be more than $4 million. The freaking average salary will be over $4 million. If he spends the rest of the year on the top line, he won't be signing for $4 million. Boston suffered a massive humiliation yesterday versus Tampa. Refs were sketchy though. 7 penalties against him in a row. Yeah, well, podcast owners or producers have the power to block users if they wish. That is always their prerogative. Well, I've blocked a few. I want a nice, I want a civil group here, not arguing and not being calling me childish, especially, or anybody childish. Like, don't call people names. Don't start, getting aggressive on here. I'd really appreciate it. It just, I don't want toxicity. I want it to be fun. And hey, I post on here often enough, and my handle is HabsCast. And somebody, for some reason, decided to call HabCast. Well, people are going to think that's me. Not everybody, but there will be people. And when I'm posting, then yes, then it's really confusing. It wasn't a huge request. He decided to flip out about it. Well, see you later. Go watch another podcast. There's 10 million Hab fans out there. I'll find another one somewhere along the way. Life's too short to be dealing with idiots. Why would Hab management so quick to sign Texas to that contract? Good question. I wondered at the same time. I wondered that. I wondered the same thing when it happened. Like, what are you doing? Dach has talent, just needs to stay healthy. Yes, I agree with that. My Dach not being a speedster was in response to Line and not being able to keep up with the first line. Okay. Tight hips. Coach is only going to play Arbor 5 minutes. Why not put Struble in there? I'd just rather just get another defense. He's not going to play any of those three. He thinks that he's the best of the three and he plays in 5 minutes. So it's not going to be any different for the other guys. NCAA has a new scoring leader. Yeah. I profiled Whitback last year. Skilled little player. I didn't mind him. Size hurt him, obviously. Shout out to Susie for elevating his play over the past 10. His eyes behind his head. Amazing anticipation. Calms down the play. Yeah, I know. There was one play in the offensive zone where he got it, and I said, okay, Susie, turn that way, and he did, and then turned the other way. Just got rid of the checker, just poise, right, and smarts. He's such a smart player. Loved him in his draft year. Loved watching him. Just you said, oh, not the biggest or doesn't have the ideal size speed combo that you want in a top 10 pick. But my goodness, so friggin' smart. And you could see it right from the age of 17, like smart. Struble better than Arbor if he didn't sit on the bench last year watching Savard. Needed to play regular. He can play up and down the lineup, versatile. You know what? Yeah, he did get sat a little too much, and this year too. It's too bad. When he first, I thought he looked so good when he first came up to the Habs, and he hasn't because he doesn't play enough. He really hasn't. He really hasn't developed. I'm thinking Dach gets at least 3-year deal if he doesn't get hurt. Yeah, probably 3 years, 5, something like that. Do you think we can go on a run like we did last year after the First Nation break? I don't know, but I hope so. Okay, who's Rick? So you're wrong, Rick. Oh, there's 10 million in one, and on the biggest one, there's more than 10 million fans. There's 10 million in one, and on the biggest one, true story. I don't get it. Are you trying to say you're the biggest? I'm the biggest one? And okay. Stamkos, O'Reilly, McCarron, another big night for them. Nashville is fighting. Yeah. Who starts in the peg? Oh, yeah. I think it'll be Monty in nets against Winnipeg. What do you folks think? I think it's probably his turn. Dobie was okay tonight, but not as good as he had been. He didn't get a win. I said as soon as he doesn't get a win, they'll probably go with Monty. What did he end up here? 24 shots, 4 goals against, so say 20 of 24. That's not fantastic, is it? Get out the handy calculator. 833 save percentage. That's Monty. That's below Monty's season average. So, I think we'll probably see Montembeault in Winnipeg, but they might come back with him since there'll be a big rest anyway. We'll see. It'll be up to the new goalie coach. I think he'll make the decision. Grant, would you trade Arbor and Struble for Stanley and Shen? Jets need to get younger and will sell. I'm a big Logan Stanley fan, and he's an upgrade on Arbor. Yeah. Well, I'm not a big Logan Stanley fan. Never have been, never will be. So if you're asking me, I would say no. And you'd have to trade more than that. Sorry to say. Why would Winnipeg do that? I don't think they would go for it. They'd want more. And I'm sorry, I'm just not Logan Stanley. Not a fan. I'd go with Dovish again. Dovish was bad enough that it justifies to be replaced. I don't know. I don't think he was very good tonight, honestly. He should have saved that first shot. And you get that was, that was Monty like. Monty will get the start. It's been a while since his last start, and they don't want to put too much on Dovish. I think so. I think it was probably the plan anyway. And the fact that Dovish didn't win tonight and 833 save percentage let in what I think was at least 2 goals that he probably should have stopped. I'd be thinking it'll be Monty in Winnipeg. Hey, Winnipeg's at the bottom of the standings, They're struggling. It's probably a good time to get him in there. And maybe have him, if he has a decent game and they win, or even if they don't win, but he has a decent game, get him in a proper frame of mind during the 3-week break, right? If he has play at all up until the 3-week break, will it just mess with his head even more, right? I think, honestly, that they need to, that they will likely go with Montembeault in Winnipeg. But hey, they're not. No, it's not always an indicative stat, but letting in easy goals is an indicative stat. Did you think, Tim, that he was great on that first shot? Did you think the one that squeezed through, I don't know how it got through, no idea how it got through, you think that was a good save? So this is the indicative stat. I saw it with my eyes that he wasn't very good tonight, that he missed. He probably could have saved 3 of those 4 tonight. He'd like to have 3 of them back, at the minimum 2. So that means he wasn't great. If he'd have made 40 saves in addition to letting in 3 that were a little iffy, then maybe, but no, he made 20 saves other than that. Well, sorry, that's not a good game for Dobie tonight. Winnipeg isn't an offensive juggernaut either. Well, no, especially that second line. I think they have to. How do you coach that? Yeah, I don't know, but even Dobie's given up the first goal a few times. I think 3 this year now, and I know Monty's done it 5 times. It's not a good stat, is it? Especially on the road, and just get the crowd into it right away. Frig. Outside on the wing. Oof. And he didn't even come close to saving that. Detroit lost? Or you mean won? Colorado's mean. That doesn't make sense. If Detroit lost, then they aren't getting crushed. Yeah, well, Detroit won. Okay. 2-0. Shutout. Colorado. They have lost 6 games. 6 of their losses have come. Is it 6 of their 9 have come against the Atlantic Division? Is that wild or what? I believe it is. I think it was 5 going into the game. Right? And they now have 9 losses, so my goodness. 6 out of 9 of their losses have come to the Atlantic Division. That's just nuts. considering they only play them twice, 16 games a year. You need to keep Monty involved. Well, the backup goalie has to play at some point, even if it is Monty. The Shen brothers would be a great addition to the team. Yeah. Yeah, I could handle the two of them being on the Habs. And I wouldn't have minded Shen out on that face-off in overtime and not Deneau. At least Shen could maybe score a goal. I wasn't crazy about that. That's a Claude Julien. That's a conservative Claude, right out of the conservative Claude playbook. Playing not to lose. And when you play not to lose, safe as death, as John Tortorella used to say, safe is death. And I just, Marty that with more, I like early Marty who just, fuck it, let's, pedal to the metal, let's go for it, right? And now as he's getting more, he's getting that more the conservative NHL scout coaches, especially veteran ones, have a tendency to be conservative, and it's too bad. I think they should go for it. Habs fans forget still in a rebuild. No winning a cup every night. No. Most night Habs are being highly competitive and entertaining. A couple of years ago, we turned the TV off after being down 2-0. Pretty well. Yeah, some did. I had to keep because I had to report on the game, but I hear you. I certainly would watch other things, like keep my eyes on some other things once it was 2-0 because it was over at that point. Since you nailed my Rod Langway Formosa Taiwan trivia question, here's another one. Oh. Johannesburg, South Africa. Oh, I used to know this. My memory's not what it used to be. See, I got the Habs, right? But who the hell was it? I used to know this. I think you might have got me this. I think you might have got me on this one. Olaf Kolzig. Was it Cole? Former Washington Capital goalie. I think it was Kolzig, wasn't it? All momentum goes out the window at the break. It's going to be a wild rest of the season. Ooh, wild rest of the season. Not sure goalie being involved means a lot with the Olympic break. Everyone is getting a reset for me. Reset for me. Goalie selection in Winnipeg is solely about who increases winning chances. Yeah. Well, I think it does. I think Monty needs to go in with he's got 3 weeks. Hey, if he doesn't play for freaking 2 weeks, it'll be 5 weeks that he doesn't play. So that's not good. On top of that, he'll be like, geez, do they even want me? Am I going to get traded? Like what? No, I don't agree with that. No, don't agree. I think they got to go. If Dovey was great tonight and they won, maybe you come back with him, but no. Marco's had a couple of weeks working with, and it did wonders the first time around. I'm confident that Monty will have a good game, and if he wins, then that's only a bonus. he goes into the break better frame of mind. You need two goalies. You want to win, you got to have two goalies. You got to play your backup. He's the backup. Put him in. Demidov needs more ice time. Yeah. Cappy needs more ice time. Why the hell did they have Deneau out instead of Cappy in the overtime? Didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. Cappy had 14-23. Demidov 14-11. Not enough, folks. Bingo. Kolzig, well done. Yeah, Olaf Kolzig. Remember that year they went all the way to the final? Joey Juno, and I think Kolzig was in nets that year, was he not? They came close. Kyle, do me a favor and post. Come on to YouTube and post on here, buddy, if you don't mind. Numbnuts, they're it's too cheap to pay me on X, so I got 2 million impressions, 3 million impressions last month, and I earned $17 on X. Thank you, Elon. You can't afford. Well, they can't afford it, right? Can't afford to support people. Like, that's a joke. So, Kyle, if you don't mind, YouTube, HabsCast, links probably on X. Join the chat in here. Join us. The more the merrier. YouTube actually compensates me for it. So it'd be it would be a huge favor if people watching on X came to the channel, my YouTube channel, watched it on YouTube, participated in the live chat, press like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's all I ask for. These people that are kind enough to send donations on top, that's great. And it's keeping me afloat here, but just doing that keeps me afloat too. If 1 out of every 10 persons on X can do that, that's watching and has been watching, it's going to help me survive doing this, to make a living at it. That's what I'm trying to do. So if you could be kind enough to, you obviously want to participate. I just ask that you participate on my YouTube channel in the live chat, please. Thank you. And I hope you don't pull a HabsCast and call me childish for asking. I'm asking nicely. Thanks. Only 6 back-to-back left. Monty might only get 6 starts if it was me. There's still 6 back-to-backs left? Only 6. Well, frig, they only play 25 or something. Are there really 6 back-to-backs? Ooh. I wouldn't say only. Feller for some after. Well, we'll see, Francois. Like, the main reason why they called up, why they made the goalie change, was to get Monty going. I truly believe that. So, like, when he first came back from Laval, he looked half decent. To me, that goalie change, the goalie coach change, was first and foremost to get Samuel Montembeault's game back on track. And I'd be surprised if he only gets 6 more. It'll all depend on how he plays, right? Dobie's inconsistent too, right? I mean, we've seen him have good spells and then he'll go into a funk. He's still a young goalie that only has 50 starts his NHL career, if that. So Montreal's biggest strength is there room? I'd be really cautious about making moves that affect chemistry. Well, bringing in the Shen brothers wouldn't affect chemistry. Marty needs to put an end to his conservative approach by calling John Cooper for his suit tailor. Yep, Kolzig versus Detroit in the final. Yeah, the run came to an end at that point. Hey, Kyle, thanks. I appreciate it. X sucks. Well, I had 2.5 million impressions. I don't know, thousands of likes, all sorts of views on X, and I got paid $17 last month, and it cost me 11 to be on premium, so $6. Thank you, Elon. I know you can't afford more than that. You're only going to be a trillionaire here in about I don't know, what time is it? Wild. Misa is doing well lately. Not that it guarantees anything, but it encourages me about Hage having an immediate impact, considering he was better than Misa at World Junior. Yeah, well, that's the other option, right, Francois? That's the other option for the top line if Dach doesn't work out, if Line doesn't. Goalie fight coming, Canada versus US. I can feel it. Grant, when you scouted, hey, I still scout. All right. You don't have to be an NHL scout to still scout. So I take that a little, as a little bit of and who's good about it now, Eric, because he used to say former scout. I say, Eric, I'm not a former scout. I'm still a scout, right? So anyway, which junior barn would you say was the craziest crowd? Never a dull moment, if you know what I mean. Yeah. Oh, I like Shawinigan. The old barn in Shawinigan. The friggin' seats like that. Cozy. They're right on top of you. The fans are right on top of you. Oh, that's okay. So I'm just, I still scout. Um, I was watching you on X and joined you on here. All right, John. Thank you. There was another fellow the other day that said he was going to do it too. And just a sec here. Francois, I'm from Shawinigan. Yeah, there you go. So do you agree with me, Francois? I loved and the Bob too. I mean, a little biased there because Bob was one of my basically home arenas back in the day, but I always liked the Bob. Shawinigan and the Bob. I like the old barns. I just got to find something here. Somebody mentioned something about Jurowski. So today, Jurowski picked up an assist. Thanks for reminding me. I didn't get a chance to update it. I suppose I should have, but I'll do it now. Alex Jarovsky. Sorry, folks. Just give me a minute here. It's a pretty cool graphic. 44, 13, 23. Okay. So I will change this and this and this. Put him ahead of Eli. Congratulations to Alex Jarosky. Just a sec here. Yeah, the Shawinigan barn, the old barn. Oh, that was something else. And the Bob Guertin. And hey, I get it. You have to, these things. I mean, in the Montreal Forum, obviously. But I like the old barns. Shawinigan, like the fans were basically right on top. Yeah. All right. So here was Jarosky's point tonight or today. Look at that. 44 games, 13 goals, 23 assists, 36 points. Most KHL points at 18. Still 5 games left in comparison to Tolvanen. The points per game, there's a little. I have to calculate that. It's obviously not 875 anymore because he had gone a few games there without any points. So just bear with me for a sec here. Okay, 818. So score got at 818 clip, which is the best of any 18-year-old in KHL history. Head of Kuznetsov, Kaprizov, who we saw tonight, Tarasenko, who we saw tonight, Daniel Boot, Michkov, who you may have heard of, Surin, Buchnevich, Tolvanen. So a nice group there. Tell you that's not a bad thing, right? I'm pretty encouraged by that. Congratulations to Jarosky. Pretty happy about that. I mean, hey, tell me he shouldn't have been a first round pick, right? Was Marty St. Louis ever a defensive player? Needs to have a defensive teacher for his young guns. Yeah, he was. He was a hell of a defensive player, actually. Quite good. He led the NHL in shorthanded goals, I think, more than once. Yeah, Marty was really good. He penalty killed regularly and scored a lot of shorthanded goals. Yeah. Bontoon, there's a little bit of a. Most of those guys, are, if not all, played in the tougher division too, right? I mean, he is playing against teams that aren't that great, so they're, Oh, you're saying reminded me not to get too hyped. Yeah, to Tolvanen's credit, he's turned into a very good defensive player, which I never ever. I watched him in Green Bay in his draft year, and the guy wouldn't freaking back check if his life depended on it. And now he's like hits and block shots. He's like at the top of the league among forwards. Like Sloth's right there, but Tolvanen I think is even ahead of him. So he's turned into a good NHLer, but he had to adapt his game. But yeah, like good point about Tolvanen. The hype, the hype that was there with Tolvanen when he had those 19 goals, and he's going to be a 40, 50 goal scorer. And remember, same thing with Michkov, right? Oh, future 50 goal scorer. Like, I remember being on another podcast and the host saying, "Oh, Michkov's going to score 50 goals." And, okay, we'll see. Different leagues, different hockey altogether. Really is. You have to, we'll know better when Jarosky gets over. And that's also why, like Simo talked to him and he said, well, I've got Jarosky top 5 now if I was, from last year's draft. And we'll see, It's hard to have him ahead of a kid like Kindle who's already in the NHL and already producing and looks really good. Like, you have to, not just consider upside, but you have to consider floor. Like, that's how that's how you rank. That's how you do rankings. Both have to be taken into consideration. Floor is important. Obviously, upside, potential upsides, even more important, but you also have to weigh in player's floor. And there's questions about Jarosky. We'll see. But yeah, he looks good, and he looks like he's definitely got top 6 upside in the NHL. And if the rest of his game comes along, he puts on good weight, continues to improve defensively, he can become a really good NHL player someday. When you traveled as a scout, did you ever come to Regina and scout the Pats? Yeah, Doug Wickenheiser, back in the day. No, I'm not that old. No. I was a regional scout, so John, I wasn't paying my own dime to go to Regina, fly out to Regina to watch games. Basically, Quebec City, furthest trip was probably Quebec City and Lake Placid. I went to U18s in Lake Placid, Quebec City, Shawinigan, Victoriaville, Val-d'Or, went down to Southern Ontario a couple times, but kept it mostly to Eastern Ontario, West Quebec. The odd trip, couple of trips down to Lake Placid. Like your low-key approach without superfluous bling. Solid observations. Thanks, Murray. Do I accept e-transfers? Absolutely, I do. Why don't you send me a note at this email, and I'll give you my regular email if you wanted to send me an e-transfer, Murray. I appreciate that. I'm posting it right now. Grant at HabsCast.ca. Just send me a note, and I'll give you my e-transfer email. And thank you. I truly appreciate that. Paul, like and subscribe to the channel and get a membership for the channel. Yes. Say hi to Chrétien for us, Francois. Oh, jeez. Did you see the little video on Jean today? I always got a kick out of Jean Chrétien. He's got a cat. The Shawinigan handshake. He's talking about the guy down, that our good friend down south doesn't seem to like us too much there. He said, but he said he's brought the friggin' Canada together. And Quebec's more, um, Quebec is further away from a referendum than they have been in the last 60 years, 50 years. And he said, but not in Alberta. He was on with um, Harper doing something, and little shot Alberta. What's up with them? So, well, I didn't sign the petition. Harper said it was kind of a cool exchange with those two former former prime ministers getting together for some chat. I like the size that Dach provides in the top line. It's nice to have a 6'4" winger instead of a smaller guy like Texe. Yeah, I agree. And I like to see you, John, posting on here. And I'm glad you didn't call yourself HabsCast. Eh? Imagine somebody comes in now and says, I think nobody's using the handle HabsCast. I think I'll start using that. Not a good idea. You don't want to get me riled up. Remember when Brandon Prust called the Ottawa coach a fat, bug-eyed walrus? Yeah, I do. And Brandon Prust, as it turned out, I don't know. You asked me which one I'd rather go to dinner with, have a beer with, it would be Paul McLean. I like Paul McLean. He's Maritimer, eh? East Coast boy. And I liked when he got fired and he did a press conference and he said, told my daughter got fired. He says, Dad, you just got to do like Taylor Swift said and shake it off. Okay. Yeah. Panthers are 9 points out with a game in hand. Are they done? Frankly, Mahalich, I don't know. Maybe. Barkov better get back. I think they might. Yeah. Hey, it's catching up with them having going to the finals 3 straight years. It catches up with you after a while. Not having your top line center, I think, it's hurting them. Taco was pretty clear about Michkov today. You want me to talk about Michkov? I can't. He isn't playing a lot because he didn't arrive in good shape at training camp. Well, it's true. Have you seen him play? Like, he can't keep up with the pace. I know I was told by somebody in the organization, last year that Michkov will have to get faster. The hope of the Flyers was that he would have a good off season, right? Not go to where did he go to? Dubai, wherever he freaking went there and got in a car accident, and the whole his old man and the weird circumstances around him drowning in a 5-inch pond and all that stuff. But he was, his like that. I don't think has helped him either, right? Because he kind of pushed him, and I don't know. The Flyers are going to really want him to stay in Philly, I think, this next off season, and kind of hope that he doesn't. He's still got an interpreter. How many players in the league have need an interpreter? Is he the only one? Like, these are all not good signs, and I've heard so many horror stories about him in Russia and the character issues, and so he arrives out of shape in camp. They had him on the bike, trying to get him to lose some of that weight. It was a chunky Like, he's not very tall, and he's kind of stout. And arrived not in shape. And you read, it's just, I don't know how many times Michkov have you noticed as a trend? Like, maybe more than any other player in the league this year. And invariably, it's Flyers fans that just, and it reminded me so much of the Galchenyuk years, where the coach doesn't know what he's doing. Galchenyuk has to play, you know, even though Galchenyuk couldn't check his hat. Got to be at center, got to play, And I admit, even, early on, I was kind of, why isn't Chucky in the top two lines? Why isn't he playing at center like he was supposed to? He was drafted. Well, as the more we watched and saw, well, Chucky didn't really have much, you know, he didn't really care about checking all that much. Russian, right? There's a lot of them like that. And then Chucky also, as it turned out, his character was not good. And he listened to his dad all the time, who was a former, player and coach. And you could see him on the bench, and assistant coach would be talking to him, and he'd argue back. And we seen it with Michkov this year, right? Did you see the clip of him freaking arguing with the, you know, uh, blame the friggin' coach all you want, but this is a second. And it's not just, Talkett's got assistant coaches too. And it was Michkov friggin' sassing back at the assistant coach. You know, but Philly fans, everything's Michkov. Like, you still see them saying, "Oh, Michkov's our future," and the coaches have to go, and everyone else has to go. But Michkov, he's the promise. He's the chosen one. They're in for a, yeah. His points per game decrease from first year to second is the exact same as Nail Yakupov's. And I've said it before. He reminds me of Nail Yakupov. He really does. He was so highly touted, so, wasn't a great skater, didn't like the back check, didn't have a great attitude, piled up a lot of points in junior, but NHL's best league in the world. You got to work at it. Doesn't matter how skilled and talented you are. And if you don't, you see what Alexei Lafreniere, you see how his career's fizzled out. You see what happened with Yakupov. He lasted a few years and just worst first overall bust probably since Patrick Stefan. I don't know. We'll see with Michkov, but the fans that are just like they're out of touch with, Rick Tockett's been around the game forever, and John Tortorella around the game forever. Doesn't matter what coach they bring in, they would not be playing Michkov 20 minutes a game on the top line this year, because he'd be probably minus 30 and freaking, he can't keep up with the pace. He doesn't back check. Anyway, maybe he turns it around. Maybe, he becomes this 50-goal scorer that people on another podcast, were predicting back in the day, but I don't think so. I think if the Habs didn't trade the 16th, 17th pick in the first round and made a pick, Drosky would have been picked at 16. Maybe. You don't ask me asking, did you, Trevor Thymans, and Lee McGuire know each other before being linked to Habs? Before being linked to Habs. How well, Liam's been linked to the Habs for 40 years. I didn't know Liam 40 years ago. I've known Liam since the 80s. Probably 87 or so. So 39 years. But Liam's been linked to the Habs since about 1980. So 45 years, 46 years. He used to be on Dick Irvin's show. Might have been late 70s, right around, late 70s to early 80s. So he was already linked to the Habs before, I went to college in Ottawa and met Liam at his bar, the Original Six. Got to know him a little bit. Got to know him a bit through a newspaper that I used to publish, a hockey newspaper. Got to know him a bit more through that. And then through the years, Trevor, I knew before he hired me to coach or to scout for the Habs. Met him at the prospect tournament way back when at the Palladium, the rookie tournament that used to be played in Hull, and then they played it in Ottawa. And met him and Bob Gainey and Pierre Gauthier in the parking lot one day. Got Trevor's number, started talking to him, conversing with him. He liked my scouting eye and ended up hiring me as a part-time scout under Bob Gainey. Grant, do you think there's a chance that the Habs can get Thomas from St. Louis? I don't think so. I don't think St. Louis is going to trade him, and I don't think I don't think the Habs would be the right. Oh, thank you, Murray. $40. Wow. Okay, I appreciate that, Murray. I'll send you my. I'll send you the right address to e-transfer me. That's awfully nice of you, buddy. I'll do that as soon as I'm off. Thank you. Well, there you go. So made $42 today. Oh, and Donnie McCaskill with the 5 memberships. Thanks, Don. I really appreciate that. And thank you, Sheldon, for the toonie. You're as good as gold, my friend. Florida still have a lot of 4-point games left. I don't think they're done yet. Well, that's the good thing for the Habs, right? These teams play each other so many times, and they won't both win those nights. But the way things are going, they all frickin' seem to go to overtime. So they each. Panthers lost Bennett tonight. 7 regulars out. Yeah. How good is Barkov? Got 115 out of Huberdeau, 1-2 cups. He gets hurt. The Cats are probably going to miss the playoffs. Yeah. And Kachuk was out all year, too. Good point. Lose just 1 or 2 of those divisional. Yeah. Eduardo, 485. Alternative targets. Montreal is now expected to prioritize a top 6 scoring winger to play alongside Nick. I don't know about that. Did you see Pierre LeBrun, who is probably as tuned in as most, saying that they're not after it at all, that they may not do anything of people. They're clickbait, oh, Habs are after this guy, Habs are after that, Habs are after a lot of noise, right? A lot of noise. But Pierre LeBrun, who is probably as tuned in as most, saying that they may not they're not after it at all, that they may not do anything of saying that they're not after it at all, that they Pierre LeBrun, he said it. Let me see if I can find it there. He said something today that made me, that certainly made it sound like they're not, Habs don't think they need to, or won't be going all out to try to get a top six piece. They don't, I don't know that they have to. Between Dach, Line, Page, fourth, with Newhook, maybe Texier. Not that that would be my choice. Out of the six of them, surely get one of them that can fill the spot, I would think. I'm just going to see if I can find this. Pierre LeBrun. But I think maybe it wasn't him. Somebody quoting him and making it up. That wouldn't be the first time either. I don't know. You see and hear all sorts of different. But I don't think there's a the Canadians are not going to panic here. They're in a good spot. They've got Newhook coming back to. Michkov will get a bunch of coaches and GMs fired. Yeah. No, I think he'll be the one that goes eventually here. I don't think yeah. Otani still has an interpreter. Michkov just needs to also become a goaltender. Yeah. Well, that's different though. NHL, again, is there another NHL player that needs an interpreter? Is Demidov? He's a year younger. Like, if you're going to become an NHL player, you know that you got to learn English. Not Michkov. He doesn't care. Back to Russia and, United Arab Emirates. Who the hell goes there in the summer? Like, he's a strange cat. Oh, my vacation, I'm going to go to the United Arab Emirates. Like, really? Were you trying to learn English there? Michkov? No. Thank God the Habs didn't take Michkov. Bob Brown knew about him and said there's a better one the next year. Yeah, well, I think I might have been the one that said that. He's the real one. Bob Roth told me at the time. Oh, yeah, I had chats with Nick about Michkov, and they were not taking Michkov. It was Leonard or Reinbacher. Personally, I would have taken Dvorsky or Leonard, but my next choice was Reinbacher. I had Reinbacher ranked 6th, so I didn't have an issue with it. Leonard 4th, Dvorsky 3. Who does Reinbacher remind you of? I don't know. Players don't have to remind you necessarily of exactly of a player. Maybe a little bit like McDonough. I've said, and him again, he's not just like Serge Savard, but that type of player. remember Liam as the trivia master on the old Habs This Week show on Saturday nights on CTV when I was like 10. Yeah. No, he freaking. Yeah. Dick Irvin gave Liam his big break. Yeah. And you hear my intro, it's Dick Irvin. Thanks to Liam. Good buddies to this day. Hughes mentioned lately they'd be prudent regarding trades. Really feels as if they won't do anything big that could backfire short or long term. Yeah. No, I think there'll be sellers and buyers. But it might be for like, you know, I don't think they need a top 4 defenseman, and I don't think they need a top necessarily are going to blow their wads on a top 6 forward. But they'll get a veteran right defenseman, at least one, and maybe a couple of bottom line guys. But that will mean that they'll have to move out a couple of bodies. So sell and buy, I think. Do you think they would trade Bobrovsky at the deadline? I don't know. That's a possibility, I guess, if they fall right out. The cupboard is too crowded. Habs need to make a move. Yes, thanks for the hard work and the insights, Grant. Very entertaining. Good night from Calgary. Yes, Les Nessman with his bandages. All right, folks. I want to keep it under 2 hours here. It's almost 12:30. Thank you so much again. I got to send my email address to Murray, who was kind enough to offer to send me an e-transfer, which is pretty cool. No, Francois just sent me a toonie. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it, folks. Keep her rolling. Things might be a little quiet this month because of the Olympics, but I will be following them. I don't know if I'm having a guest on tomorrow. I do have a couple of things though that I will. I'll definitely do a podcast tomorrow at some point. I've got a few things I'm working on. Bob Trask put up another good Patreon article. If you're a Patreon member, you get a chance to read it. You would have got the email. All right, folks. That's it. That's it for tonight. Thank you so much. And for certain, if I don't do a podcast tomorrow, I'll be doing one after the Winnipeg game for sure. And tell the Flames to kick tires. We need, yeah, yeah, absolutely. Get them, start kicking some tires. Oh, Flames are coming back 3-2 now. Mammoth beat Vancouver 6-2. They didn't blow it in the last 3 minutes like the other night. Good for them. Johnny, really want to keep this under 2 hours, so this will be quick. I think the Habs top four defensemen are the best top 4 in the division and conference. Maybe. You know what? I do like the top 4. WKRP in Cincinnati. And with that, good night, all. Johnny Fever wishes y'all a good night. Okay. Take care.